Myself, my name is Alex Ruiz. I'm a junior at Langfield Christian High School. I played football and baseball. I'm almost 17 years old. I'd just like to share my story with you over these past almost 5 months and what's coming ahead. October 6th of this past year, we're playing in Ontario Christian High School, and it was the first offensive drive, 15th play of the game. It was just a normal play. I got the play, I called it in, it was a read option. I decided to keep the ball, and I got caught up at the line. There's a guy on the floor, I tried to step over him. I hyperextended my leg, and I had a few guys tackling me at the same time. My knee dislocated, complete knee dislocation. I tore my ACL, LCL, PCL, meniscus, and I tore my popliteal artery, and that's the artery that gives blood to your lower leg below your knee. I got taken to San Antonio Hospital right away. I was there for a few hours, and then they realized I don't have any pulse in my foot, and so I was taken to Loma Linda University Hospital, where they performed surgery and gave me a synthetic artery in my leg to restore the blood flow. And I spent 6 weeks there. 2 of those weeks were in a rehab hospital, still in Loma Linda. I've never been in a hospital, never had a sports injury. I've had a concussion, that's about it. It was kind of eye-opening. I never thought I would get hurt. I was kind of the guy that said, I've never broken a bone, I'm fine, I'm always going to be able to play. I loved what I did. And probably the 3rd week in the hospital, I could tell there wasn't, like, they weren't telling me the whole story. And I called one of my vascular surgeons in to talk to me. And she had like a 2-hour conversation. It was just me and her. And she told me that I'm probably never going to regain feeling below my knee, and I'm never going to have motor function in my foot again. And so right now I don't have any feeling or sensation below my knee on my right leg. And she told me one of my options is to get an amputation. And at that moment, I didn't want to talk to her anymore. She left the room. She just kind of said it was a thought. The plan was for me to work in rehab and go to physical therapy for the next 1.5 years. And nerves take a 1.5 years to regrow and reconnect, and I could gain some motor function back, probably not all, very unlikely not all. And she said, just go for the 1.5 years, see what happens. If it doesn't, then we'll make a decision. And so that was the plan for weeks, and I was okay with that. And then when I was in the rehab hospital, another surgeon came in. It was just a normal day in the hospital, I guess. And he talked to me and my mom, and I was playing video games because my football team got me an Xbox. And so I brought a TV in, and I kind of had a nice setup. I had my own room. So I was sitting there playing Call of Duty.
Not 40.
And he came in, I didn't really care, he was talking to my mom. I wasn't really listening, I was with my friends on Xbox. I got Xbox Live, I had a headphone, we're all playing. And my mom just kind of said, Alex, put your game away. And I was like, hold on, let me finish this match. And she said, no, like, put your game away. And I was like, oh, okay. And the doctor talked to us, and he said, he was just stone cold face, like didn't really care, no emotion, which I guess most doctors are. And he just said, we need to really start thinking about amputation. I had some complications in my leg. 60% of my muscle died in my leg. I was 11 hours without blood flow to my lower leg. He said, you're even lucky you have a leg right now. I should have came out of my first surgery without a leg. That was the plan going in. Was like, the doctor looked at me, and usually they said 6 hours without blood flow, it's an automatic like amputation. They're not finding anything to keep it. But my vascular surgeon at Loma Linda really worked hard. He saw a 16-year-old kid laying on the bed that just had a football injury and was playing football, the game that he loved. And so he worked his butt off to save my leg, and he did. And the doctor said, we really need to start considering this. Like, this is probably your best option. And he just said, he told me, stone cold face, you're never going to have feeling again. You're never going to have, like, motor function. You're not going to be able to use your foot. And he said, you can keep it. I would just probably have to have a boot on my foot for the rest of my life, and I can only walk. I could never be able to run again. And my mom lost it. She went out and she was gone. I just kind of picked up my game again and kept playing because I didn't want to deal with it. And I had my closest friends come over that night, and I kind of told them what was going on. And I told them, I was like, I think I'm gonna do it. The breaking point was for me was I'm never gonna be able to run again, and I'm never gonna be able to play baseball, whatever I like to do, golf, whatever. I'm never gonna be able to do that again. That was kind of where I was I need to do it. This is my choice. The doctor said, it's up to you. No one's making a decision for you. You're making this on your own. My mom's not helping me. The doctors aren't helping me. No one's trying to convince me to go either way, which I thought was kind of messed up. I'm like, you're asking a 16-year-old whether to amputate his leg or not. And I'm just grateful that I had the weeks to consider it, because I think if I would have came out of my first surgery, because I just thought I was going there, they didn't tell me what I was going into surgery for. They said I'm going into surgery, and I just thought I was going in, I was coming out, and if I would have woke up without a leg, I probably would not have dealt with it the way I'm dealing with it now. I've gotten to a point where I'm 100% confident in the decision that I've made. My surgery is going to be in about 2.5 weeks to amputate. It'll be below the knee. They'll close it up. I'll have knee reconstruction a few months later. We'll start working. My physical therapist, John Waite in Marietta, God bless his soul, he wants to help me in any way. He's saying he's getting me back on the field. Our goal right now, I haven't told Coach Burns this, we've talked about if all my surgeries go perfectly fine and they close up everything fine and my knee reconstruction goes well, I'll be on the field in September, hopefully to play football. That's the decision I made. I'm not gonna give up on it. I don't know if I'll be at the level I was at before, but at this point it's not about that. It's about playing one last time.
Yes.
That's what we all play for. It's not about scholarships. Those are gone.
But you do have one.
I do have one from Trinity International to coach. But if I got to play one more down, that's what I want to do. I don't care if I'm not going to start. I don't care if I'm not going to play a lot. It's just about putting that uniform on again, and playing with my brothers. This is probably the year that this would be a good time for this to happen. I don't think I would have been mature enough or ready to go through something like this last year or the year before that. As Coach Burns probably knows, I was kind of a knucklehead my freshman and sophomore year. This is kind of the year I kind of got it together. I was like, I'm an upperclassman. I'm a captain. I need to start leading by example and stop messing around. My freshman year, we had a really talented team of seniors. I played in a few games, and I was successful, and it got to my head a little bit. And then my sophomore year, I started over senior, and life was going great. It was perfectly planned out. I'm gonna start my sophomore, junior, senior year, and then junior year this past year, we had a kid transfer in, and I never really shied away from competition. I was up for the challenge, and then he started over me at the beginning of the year, and it was the coach's decision. We worked for it. We didn't have any beef with each other. He wanted out. I was happy for him, but I told him this isn't it. And there was days that were hard. There were days that were really hard. I thought I'd be lying if I thought I told you I never thought about quitting. But we had a kid the year before my sophomore year, quit because he didn't start. And I just thought to myself, I could never do that to them. I'm never going to quit on them. So we played it out, and come game 3, I'm starting again. And it was just about your work ethic and never giving up. And that's where I kind of carried that into this year, where I can't give up on anybody. I can't give up on myself. It's going to be different, but the way I looked at it is I'm 17 years old. I got my whole life ahead of me. This doesn't end my life. It doesn't mean I can't have a family. It doesn't mean I can't have a job. It doesn't mean I can't have kids. It's just a little different how I do all that. So at this point, I've accepted it. I've met many, many people that I never would have met. I never would have met these people. People in much higher places than me. I've met NFL guys. I've met some military guys. That just helped me all through it. And I never would have got to meet them. I never would have had the opportunity to put a story out and make it my own. I've had newspapers come to me, interviews.
Who's your Instagram buddy?
Zach Miller, who plays for the Chicago Bears. 3 weeks after me, he had the same injury as me. And I was watching the game in the hospital because he was playing the Saints, and that's my favorite team. We got in contact with him, and we're friends now. He gave me this necklace. But just to hear him in his interview mention me and say that I'm an inspiration to him, even though I really haven't done anything for him, we talk, and I just kind of he's caught up to me now. He's walking, and he's already had his knee reconstruction. But just to know that he took the time out of his day, I never thought he would answer a DM. He kind of helps me now that I see him walking. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get there soon. We're gonna run together. And I told him, I was like, we're gonna meet up and we're gonna run. We're gonna start something. We're gonna do something big. And I think it's just about pushing through. Life is different, but human nature is to adapt. When things happen, you have to adapt. So yeah, I'm losing my leg, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to walk again. Prosthetics are so far ahead now that you can do anything you ever wanted to do. I'm gonna play baseball again. I'm gonna play football again. I'm gonna go golfing. I'm gonna go play basketball with my friends. Nothing's gonna stop me. And it's just about having that mindset that you're never gonna give up. Do I have days where I hate life and I hate I'm sitting in bed and I'm screaming, this is stupid, F this, F that, yeah, I have those days. But it's just about having more good days than bad days. And at this point, I think I'm having a lot more good days than bad days. Yeah, this sucks and I wish it never happened. But you can never know what's gonna happen in life. I don't blame anybody for this. I don't blame the players who tackled me. I don't blame anybody. I replay the play in my head every single day, wondering what I could have done different. But it's not the what ifs. People are gonna say, "Oh, you can't think about the what ifs," but it's impossible to not think about the what ifs, because you're always gonna wish you could change something. But that's life. You make a mistake. I wish I could have done this differently. You can't think about that. You made the decision. You have to live with that and adapt. And that's just kind of been my motto, is to adapt. Thank you. I appreciate you listening.
Let's give Alex another round of applause. What a great story. Hey, I want to bring up Alex. I want to bring up one of the coaches. This is Coach Ray Leonard Jr. Also, one offense coordinator. Something, but he.
I gave him the play.
Anyway, Alex just shared a story with you that tells you that regardless of what the situation is, life goes on, and you, just like we mentioned, the path, We stay on path. The course might change a little bit, but we stay on path. And we all will experience that one day, and we have to be focused. Focus. Ray, you want to say something?
Oh, yeah. I just want everybody to know that this is an awesome young man. You know, it's a pleasure to coach him, a pleasure to be around him. He's an inspiration. You know, he would come pick my son up in the morning in the off season, and they would go work out. And I was right there on the field with him and gave him the call. So I had that same feeling when I saw him go down. I was like, man, he said, you know, you think about regrets. If I would have gave him something, the what ifs. You know, we always think about that. But to see his passion and to see him come through it and to know that he's going to do everything he can to be back on the field again and do everything that he loves, you know, it's still an inspiration to me. And I guess on behalf of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, he wants to give you these things. And you know, it's awesome to see you mature. All right, love you, man.
Hey,